everyone. My name is Miss Susan and I'm from the Ewing branch of the Mercer County Library System. Welcome to Fractured Fairy Tale Story Time. And today we're going to talk about the Frog Prince. Now the Frog Prince is Brother Grimm's fairy tale. There's three characters in this series of books that I'm going to be reading. Of course, there's a frog. Hello, boys and girls. Hello, friends. And a frog is an amphibian. An amphibian is an animal that lives both in land and in water. Another character in the story is the princess. Now, I had some help with these wonderful puppets. I have two of them. And Miss Chetna was able to make me 2 sock puppets. It's very easy to make. It might not look as good as Miss Chetna's, but you take a sock, you take some yarn, and whatever else you have in the house. A little, I made a crown. Miss Chetna made a crown for me. And on the boy one, we have big lips so you could open up your mouth and talk. Now I'm going to show you how to make the frog. Okay. Miss Sue had to practice many times, so if you don't get it the first time, it's okay. Down for a second. Okay. In order to make the frog, we're going to make 2 circles for the eyes. About the same size. Then we're going to take like eyeglasses. And then we're going to put another circle with a little dot in here. And another circle in here with a dot. Now we're going to extend this. That means make it a little longer. And we're going to make a nice big mouth. Okay, and he needs some nostrils on his nose and always a happy face. Then for his body, we'll make the letter C. And then we'll make another letter C. And then we will make an M. Make it a little bigger. And we'll make a little M here for his webbed feet. And then we're going to close it up and we'll make a little like S over here and another little S over here, and we'll put more feet. And even though it's not perfect, you could have your frog and you could put it on a spoon while I read the stories. So we'll say goodbye to the frog and we'll use the frog puppet just for a minute, just to say hello to his friend Frog. Hello, Mr. Froggy. Okay. Now, for the first story, this will give you an idea of what the Frog Prince is all about. I'll be reading this book, The Frog Prince, and it's a retelling of the Grimm's fairy tale by Eric Blair. And the publisher is Picture Window Books. The story of the Frog Prince has been passed down from generation. There are many versions of this story, and the following tale is a retelling of the original version. While the story has been cut for length and level, the basic elements of the classic tale remain. Once upon a time, that's how most story tales begin, there was a king with his many daughters, and the youngest daughter was the most beautiful. The young princess had a golden ball. It was her favorite toy. By the forest, there was a deep well. The princess would go near the well and play with her golden ball. Now, here's a prediction. What happens if you have a ball near a well? I think you told me. Well, one day, the ball landed in the well, and the princess, she started to cry. "Why are you crying?" asked the frog. "I lost my golden ball in the well," the princess said. "What will you give me if I get the ball?" the frog asked. "Whatever you want," the princess said. And the frog said, "Let me be your friend." And the princess agreed, but the princess wasn't telling the truth. She was thinking, this frog is silly. How could a frog ever have a human for a friend? And the frog dived into the well. He quickly returned with the golden ball. And the princess picked up the ball and quickly ran away. And the next day, the princess was at the dinner table with her father, the king, and there was a knock on the door. And the princess ran to see who it was at the door. And when she saw the frog, she slammed the door in his face. "Who was that?" he asked. "It's just an ugly frog," she said. And the princess told her father about the ball, the frog, and the promise she had made. And the king said, "When you make a promise, you must keep it. Let him in." And the princess did as her father asked or ordered. "Pick me up and put me on your chair," the frog said. Again, the king made the princess do it. "Push the plate closer so we can eat together," the frog said. The princess did what the frog asked, but she didn't like it. And when the frog was done eating, he said, "I'm tired. Take me to your bedroom." And the princess, she began to cry. Her father became angry. "When someone helps you and you made a promise, you must keep it," the king said. And the princess carefully picked up the frog and she carried him upstairs into the bedroom. The princess put the frog on the floor in her bedroom, and she crawled into her bed and turned off the light. "I'm tired and I want to go to sleep. Lift me up or I'll tell your father," said the frog. And the princess became angry, and she picked up the frog and threw him against the wall as hard as she could. "There, you ugly frog, now you sleep," she said. And when he dropped to the floor, the frog turned into a handsome prince. He told the princess a wicked witch had cast a spell on him. She had broken the spell. The promise, the princess let the prince become her dearest friend and husband, and they lived happily ever after. The end. So, my friends, that was one version of the Frog Prince. And now I have a funny story for you. It's called Prince of a Frog, and it's by Jackie Urbanovic, and the publisher is Orchid Books, an imprint of Scholastic. The Prince of a Frog. Once, in a faraway pond, lived a frog named Hopper, who loved to play. He crooned tunes, but the fish thought he was off scale. He kicked like a pro, but the ducks thought he was quackers. Even the herons thought he was too odd to eat, because he said, "I'm dieting." And Hopper just didn't fit in. What's wrong with me? Young pond hopper, perhaps you're not a frog. Please. I'm green and googly-eyed and my feet are webbed. What else could I be? There's a tale once told of a prince who was turned into a frog. Perhaps you are that prince. That explains everything. But what's a prince? A prince is a charming, brave, and loved. Wow, how do I become a prince again? With a kiss from a princess, of course. So all I have to do is find a princess? How hard could that be? And at the edge of the pond, Hopper heard tap, 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 coming from the treetops. Excuse me, are you a princess? What'd you say? Pollywog? Platypus? No, I'm a woodpecker. Why? Are you a princess? 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 Never mind. Across a distant field, Hopper smelled something gross. You're not a princess, are you? Hardly. I'm a skunk. Woo! Then deep in the woods, Hopper found someone helpful. Psst, I hear you're looking for a princess. Yes, I need a kiss from a princess so I can become a prince. You're in luck. I'm a magic fox. Which is better than a princess? Come closer and I'll turn you into a royal smack! Ribbit. Why did I ever leave the pond? Bap. Look at the fox. His head is spinning. you saved my life. Does that mean you'll play with me? Hopper kicked like a pro, and the dog caught his flies. Hopper crooned tunes, and the dog howled in harmony. You're great. So are you. My name's Hopper. What's your name? And the dog said, Princess. I've been kissed by a princess. Did the magic work? I'm green and my feet are wet. Googly-eyed, I'm still a frog. What's wrong with being a frog? I thought I was a prince trapped in a frog's body. Your kiss should have made me charming, brave, and loved. Look at the dog, look at the frog. But you are loved. But you already are. And if your kiss didn't change me then, I must have been a prince of a frog all along. It just took a friend to show me. The end. Okay. Those were two really good books. Now I have some facts about frogs I'd like to share with you. And I scribbled it on my piece of paper, so give me just a minute. So one, we know that a frog is an amphibian. And an amphibian is an animal that lives both on land and in water. Frogs typically lay their eggs in the water. And a group of eggs is called a frog spawn. The eggs, they hatch, that's right, into tadpoles. Very good, library patrons. And a group of frogs, you won't believe this one, what they're called. They're called an army. That's right, a group of frogs is called an army. Tadpoles have no lungs. They have gills. They grow lungs before they mature into, you got it, into a frog. Frogs don't drink water. They soak in it and through their body, through their skin. They breathe through their nose and their skin. Let me get this here. So they breathe through their nose and their skin. Guess how they catch food? Yes, they have a long tongue and they catch flies, not fly balls, but flies. Yes. Their eyeballs assist them in swallowing food. Now this I never knew. They push the food down through their throat by pushing down the eyeballs. There can see what's behind them. 360 degrees. That means they could turn all around. And their call, when you hear a frog speak, it's a croak. Okay, so there are some facts about frogs. Now, we're going to end with a wonderful story called The Frog Prince. A favorite story in rhythm and rhyme, retold by Nadia Higgins, illustrated by Aviel Basil, and there's even music if you check out this book from the library. Because this book has a QR code and you can listen. The Frog Prince, a favorite story in rhythm and rhyme. I think I said that. But the publisher is Cantina Learning. Have you ever made a promise you did not want to keep? That happened to a princess in this story. Then her promise broke a magic spell. And the Frog Prince had been told and retold hundreds of times. Now it's your turn to sing along to this famous tale. Miss Sue will not be singing. I will be talking, okay? A princess tossed her golden ball. It fell into a deep, so deep. Her favorite toy was gone for good. So she sat down and she began to weep. "I'll fetch your ball," a loud voice croaked, "if you will make this promise true, to dine with me from your same plate and let me share your bed with you." And we all know who said that, right? The frog. The princess tossed her head and laughed. "What an odd amphibian." "Yeah, sure," she answered with a smirk, and the frog bowed once and dived in. Now you remember what an amphibian is. It's an animal that can live in water and in land. He fetched the ball and held it out, and he asked her, "Do you want to play?" "No, thanks," she said, and snatched it back, and to the castle skipped away. Keep your promise, princess. See it to the end. Fill your heart with kindness. A frog can be a friend. That night, the princess gasped out loud when the frog stood at her gate. "I thought that bargain was a joke," she said as he ate from her plate. And the next night he showed up again. "Oh no," the princess heaved a sigh. He made her laugh despite herself. She said, "You are an okay guy." Keep your promise, princess. See it to the end. Fill your heart with kindness. A frog can be your friend. The third night, when the frog arrived, the princess showed him to his seat. Then, as he hopped up on her bed, she said, "You know, you're kind of sweet." The next day brought her quite a shock. The princess cried, "A stranger's here!" And the smiling boy with wide green eyes said, "Fear not, it is I, my dear. A wicked witch made me a frog, cursed to live in that deep well. But then you chose to be my friend, and through your kindness broke the spell. Keep your promise, princess. See it to the end. Fill your heart with kindness. A frog can be your friend. Keep your promise, princess. See it to the end. Fill your heart with kindness. A frog can be your friend." And if you check out this book, you will have the words to the song and the music to the song. So we learned a couple of things about frogs today. And we learned that a fairy tale usually starts with once upon a time and has a happy ending. And with that, Miss Sue's going to say goodbye to all my library friends and wish them a frog prince or princess for themselves. Bye.